120,000 people crowd the streets of Warrington to say goodbye to George Formby. He'd been Britain's top light entertainer and a worldwide success. In the Soviet Union, he'd been second only to Stalin in popularity. February 1991, and George Formby is still fondly remembered. His films get shown on television, and in the Soviet Union, he's actually overtaken Stalin in popularity. Here in Warrington, too, his life and times are about to be celebrated in a special exhibition. The title?
We've called it It's Turned Out Nice Again, and it's basically the life history of George Formby. And the star pieces in the exhibition will be a range of his ukuleles, which have been prized away from private collectors in the George Formby Society. We'll have his silver disc, his OBE, and these really exotic costumes from some of these films. You know, we've got this black and gold kimono from South American George. And what I think is fascinating, we've got these really early, rare photographs from his sister, who's now 84 and looks like George and still lives in Warrington.
A girl while bathing clung to me, I shouted out, oh. She said, I think I'm drowning and you'll save me, I know. I said, well, if you're drowning, do you mind letting go of my little stick of black bull rope?
Ever since we were children, he's attracted attention because it's the zest for living, I think.
Why did the public love him? I mean, even in Russia, even in Soviet Russia.
You'll have to ask him yourself. I don't know. Well, for one thing, personality. There's no other answer to it. He's not a Caruso. He's not anything like that. He just sings from how he feels, doesn't he? And I haven't seen an imitator like him.
Here is the famous George Formby Appreciation Society in its 30th year, keeping George's memory alive. But this passion for George Formby isn't just nostalgia. It also has a great contemporary relevance. For instance,
something in the way she moves.
Ex-Beatle George Harrison is in the fan club. He's currently teaching himself the ukulele.
Hang the DJ, hang the DJ, hang the DJ.
Another fan is Morrissey. In some circles, George was known as the fifth Smith.
I should be so lucky.
Last but not least, pop producer Pete Waterman.
People forget, but I mean, the Beatles basically were inspired by George Formby. I mean, there are certain Beatles songs, like When I'm 64, where Paul McCartney even does a George Formby impression, where he does the Vera, Chuck, and Dave, you know, which is very much George Formby. My little boy's 8 years old. He absolutely adores watching George Formby films. He finds it fascinating. I suppose he was like a rap star of his day, really, wasn't he? George Formby, the forerunner of rap.
Pete Waterman's currently working on a documentary about the forerunner of rap. The exhibition, that opens in spring, but the George Formby revival is already underway.